This is gonna be a lot of fun. So for the span of the next hour, I hope we don't go over an hour because we want to respect everybody's time here. We're gonna be talking to Bn8tion. He's our guest here from the Netherlands, a hardstyle producer. He's an upcoming artist who has worked really hard to get to where he's at. And he's not just a producer; he's also a military veteran. He served in the armed forces, and he kicked a lot of ass. And now he's back, and he's here doing great things. He's involved in the in the EDM community, as such as hardstyle predominantly. But we're gonna see more from Bn8tion, especially in his journey coming to greater things, and hopefully we'll talk about that in the later of the podcast today. But one thing I want to make sure is we turn down our music a bit because it is hardstyle. So, well, our Spotify playlist, which this podcast is brought to you by Hardstyle Now, is the Spotify playlist for Auslander Records curated playlist for all hardstyle artists. If you're a hardstyle artist and you're looking to get on the playlist, be sure to join us on Discord, pitch us a demo at Auslander Records, and we'll take care of you. All right. That is a plug for the hardstyle label here that we're running. And as a lot of people don't know, well, Bn8tion, first of all, hello. How are you?
Oh, I'm fine. How are you?
Oh, good, good. Well, it's very good to see your face. And one thing I want to say is that if you didn't start this webcam just a moment ago, I would have never figured out how to put you on the screen here. And you did help me with that. So thank you.
You're welcome.
You know what that means, right? That means that if you weren't here at this right time, I would have never started this podcast because I would never figure out how to get this to work. It would have been just me, myself, and I talking. So,
Well, that's why I'm here. I'm always willing to help.
well, you know what they say in the U.S. Army, right? One of the core values is never leave a fallen comrade. So, but you're a Marine. You're not an Army. You're a Marine, correct?
Yep.
And for those watching that don't know anything about the military or never served in the military, once you're a Marine, you're always a Marine. You don't just say, "Oh, I was once a Marine." So, well, once again, one thing we don't see a lot in the record label is the last 2 years is we haven't seen a lot of military veterans, but you're amongst one. There's also another artist who signed with us, and he went to the Air Force. So it's we're seeing more and more military veterans coming to the label. That's pretty cool. So not only do they kick ass, but they also and save lives and protect our freedoms, but they also make kick-ass music. So thank you for your service.
You're welcome.
Now, Bn8tion, this is the first ever a podcast we're doing. I'm very stoked about this because we put this together, and you're very kind of doing this at this very moment. I know we had our own schedule for Saturday, but look at this. We're almost a week ahead, a little less than a week, and we already are starting doing this. Now, this is going to be about your journey coming up as an artist, but a lot of people don't know. Tell us about how your journey really started out as a hardstyle artist. Was it so much before you joined the military? Was it your childhood? What exactly got you into hardstyle? Tell us.
Well, basically, when I got out of the Marines, I got sent back as as a DIY package. 75% of my bones shattered, and well, a lot of surgeries, a lot of revalidation, rehab, and stuff. But yeah, in the time in rehab, I got bored like fuck because you're just like 50% of the day you're just sitting in your room doing nothing. So I started a little bit of dabbing around with music. First, started with Magic's Music Maker.
I'm not gonna
With
lie. I started with Magics too, back in 2007. It was quite embarrassing, but go
yeah,
on.
which at the time for me felt like stuff, and yeah, well, after a while I got really bored with Magic, so I thought like, yeah, you know what, we go look for another dog. So I found a cracked version of FL Studio, so I started a little bit of fucking around with FL Studio. Then back then I did a little bit of house, tropical house. I was like, yeah, it's fine, but it's not for me. So I already listened to hardstyle, and I was like, yeah, well, why not? Let's just give it a go at that. And that was the moment it turned all around for me, and I was like, yeah, this is what I'm gonna do. This is me.
Very good. You know, hardstyle does bring quite of an emotion. It portrays a an emotion, an attitude. Um, it shows something about how you see the world. Is that something that resonates with you when you play hardstyle music?
Doesn't all music does that?
Correct, it does. And that's one thing about hardstyle I really like. What is the most important thing in hardstyle for you when it comes to hardstyle? When you make it, what is the most important thing?
Yeah, for me personally, it has to have a feeling in it. Well, with the tracks I did send you, you can usually feel in what kind of mood I was at the moment when I made some music.
Right. You know, B
Like
Nation.
like that remix I did send you from the other day.
Yep.
That remix from Nose Controls and Savix.
Oh yeah. That very
Well,
shocked me because it wasn't too long ago when you were in such a developmental stage, but all of a sudden, with a very quick turnaround, we're talking like months, like 2 months or less than 2 months. I mean, you did two releases on our label, but now all of a sudden, this next one, which was, you know, of course, a bootleg for noise controllers, but the mixing, the levels, and you know, the inspiration, the drop, okay, it was all there, and that's what makes a very solid song. Now, what do you think makes a song very good? I mean, in your personal opinion, what do you think will catch fans to your music the most? An element about music production.
I think for me it's the sound I always give with it.
Okay.
I have a very specific sound, and that's what makes me stand out from all the others.
Okay. I want to say that it's melody for me. So one thing that I can latch onto like a leash is actually the melodies. So long as the melody is good enough, and if the song overall is good, now if I replay my own song like 20 to 30 times in one day, I know I'm doing something right because typically when you render out that last version of your song, do you ever do that? Do you ever like re-listen to it a couple of times and call it a day?
Yeah, yeah. I always re-listen it, and when I think, yeah, I'm done, then I'm done. Just leave it for what it is and go do something else.
Right.
Because if you don't do that, you're going to fuck up.
Mm. So that's right, and that's what really stuck for me. It was actually the repetition. See, I've made a lot of songs over the years, but if I replay my own music, I know I'm doing something right. I mean, that's one way to put it. Sometimes it's not always true, though. I mean, but look, if you've done it plenty of times and you know you only kept getting better. There was a saying somewhere that if you keep repeating an activity over and over and over again, you just keep getting better at it. I mean, right?
Yeah, the saying goes, practice makes master.
Right. Right. I mean, if you're in the military and you're a sniper, right? Or you're a rifleman, right? And you keep shooting a target every day. I mean, in what at what point do you actually, you know, not get good at it? I mean, you have to get good at it. Right?
Yeah, but some don't.
Some don't. Some just waste bullets.
Yep.
Oh boy.
When I was
Okay.
in Marines, we had one for sniper practice, and we were 4 months in, and he still fucked up.
You know, one thing about Hands Up Now is we support the military veterans 100%. Some of us are actually military veterans, and that's one of the foundations of Hands Up Now. If it wasn't for the Military Veteran Network, we would never be here doing this podcast. In fact, I would not have had B-Nation at this very hour talking to you if he didn't come back from his um, tours overseas and in one piece, because he went out there to protect our freedoms. So, with that being said, well, we'll move on to this interview where, sure, you're now in making hardstyle music. You were once listening to it. Is it much of a stereotype for you, though? That, yeah, I'm from the Netherlands and I'm making hardstyle. I mean, what are the odds you bump into another musician in the Netherlands of them making hardstyle? Is that a common thing now? Or is it an age
Uh,
thing?
it's becoming a common thing, but let's say like 10, 20 years back, it was mostly dance, trance, that kind of thing.
Oh, so the trance festivals were still running around back then, the 2000s.
Yep.
So that's interesting to put it that way. But nowadays, it's very often. I mean, we've got WhatsApp groups with hundreds of members on there. I think you're a part of some of them. And
Yep.
like they're just riled up, and you got all these people who are younger than us actually, and they're just chatting away in Dutch about going to these festivals and blah 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 and having fun. So believe it or not, I believe hardstyle is in the top three EDM genre in the United States. A lot of people don't know that, but it definitely deserves that medal of recognition. What do you think about that?
I think it does. It's one of the most underrated music genres worldwide.
Well, dubstep and trap are still leading the EDM festival scene. As far as rave culture in the United States, we're now seeing a hardcore element of a bit faster of the genre called hardstyle, and people and now it's becoming almost a household name. Hardstyle music. If you don't hear it at fitness gyms, you'll hear it at a festival, and we have heard hardstyle at multiple festivals now. Are you familiar with BassCon by any chance, B-Nation?
No.
So BassCon is kind of like, I would say, the Q dance or the climax of the United States, and they're the biggest name as far as festivals with hardstyle goes. And I highly recommend you check it out, considering that we're gonna be seeing perhaps B-Nation make a presence in the United States. Is that a myth, or what is going on?
No, we actually started the immigration process, so
Oh, look at that. So we're gonna be seeing B-Nation potentially, if he gets approved. We don't know. I love your story, but we're not gonna talk about your stories of your personal stories where what the immigration officers were asking you about, because that was pretty funny in my opinion. Everybody had a laugh. And these are some really, but in general, a lot of people, they talk about these things. They should make a movie about it, in my opinion, for your story. um so anyways, I'm really looking forward to it, and because I haven't been to Europe in now 10 years. It's been, geez. I just met somebody the other day. We have a new fan in hardstyle. She's around here somewhere on Discord. But she keeps bugging me about going to Climax, and I'm telling her, well, we got BassCon here. I could just ride my car there and go to BassCon. Why do I have to go to Climax? So,
well, if I get where she's coming from because climax that's really a
well, don't get
happening.
me wrong. Climax is Climax. I mean, you can't compare it with anything. But still, like, I am kind of I'm at this point of view. Look, I told her 10 years ago, I was at that point where I wanted to kind of really go to these big climaxes and Q dances, but I'm at a point where I'm mostly like, what's happening here, what's now, and I want to do more in the United States. I want this to be more of a United States type of thing. That's the purpose of this podcast, bring more awareness to the American rave audience. A lot of the American ravers or EDM community have no idea where to go. In fact, my Discord server is super private. Do you know anything about my Discord server, B-Nation, over the years that you've been here? It has a lot of these bots, and we use these bots to make sure that we verify people coming on here. No Joe Schmo can just waltz in here thinking that they can start off rapid fire of trolling, and we don't take that lightly here. We just kick members right away. And but yeah, our Discord server is it's out there, it's public, but to join you have to get approved, and that's one thing that separates us from other Discord servers. What kind of experience have you had on our Discord server? Would you say, B-Nation? I mean, how long have we known each other? Was it been like 2 years now, maybe?
Uh, over 2 years actually.
Because we always kid around the November, no shave November, but now it's like, we've shaved. It's not November yet, but maybe we should do a recap on November.
No, but I started in your Discord when COVID began.
Correct. I started Discord a year or two before COVID began for video games. Now I'm old enough. I hardly have time for video games. I have more fun doing these music stuff and building more content for artists. But I opened up my Discord server at the beginning of COVID in January with just 23 people, and they were inactive. It's not like they were in it for showcasing their promotional music and promote their music on here. From 23 people to 400 plus members, what do you have to say about that, B-Nation? I mean, like, I think when we first met, we were around 100 members. And, we used to do these monthly voice chats. They were kind of like a podcast. It's too bad I shut down that gig. Did you get anything out of that at all?
Well, if I look at the way I started when I came into your Discord and at the level I am now, then yeah, I did got a lot out of it.
Good. There was a lot of different people on there. But there's also unsung heroes in the Discord server who specialize at something, but they're very good at it. And oftentimes they're under the age of influence. And so they're like kids, but they're like killing it out there. They're making me look bad because they're just so talented that once they get to the level where they have the it factor, and they have been recognized by established artists, and they can vouch for them. I mean, these cats are gonna go out there and they're gonna make a lot of money on these festivals, and that's what these festivals are doing. They make a lot of money. These festivals, a lot of the artists actually focus more attention on festivals than actually caring about their Spotify playlists. How much do you actually care about your streams versus how many bookings do you get a year?
None.
Hmm. Well, I
I,
think at one point when you start getting bookings, you will, have a change of heart, and you're gonna see the difference.
at the moment, for me, it's more about the music than actually making money out of it.
Mm, exactly. And tell me about the music phase, because at what point did you realize you wanted to start releasing your music? Did you feel comfortable where you are right now? I noticed that you have gotten very better at, like, within 2 months. Like, how is this? Like, typically for me, it took me 13 years to develop a certain style niche that I personally can tell people, this is it. This is what I can offer. It's good music, and you can enjoy it. As opposed to some of the stuff I've done in the past, which are not as good at. It took me 13 years to figure this out. What about you? How long did it take you to perfect your hard style?
Uh, well, at the moment, it's like I said, the last 2 years when I joined the Discord.
Cool. That's awesome, dude. Well, look, thank you so much for, you know, um, seeing what we can provide here. There's a lot of talented people here. There were also other talented people, but they left the server. And I wonder why they would leave the server. I think oftentimes we had a lot of issues on the server, uh, and the trolling definitely stopped. As soon as I added those verifications. But one time somebody trolled the server 73 times. They spammed everyone, and it was quite something. By the time I got there, it was like the 73rd comment copy pasted, and it is what it is. And but going back to here now, you're using FL Studio. Any reason why exactly you prefer FL Studio over any other DAW right now?
Yeah, well, like I said, I started with Magic Music Maker and then I switched to FL Studio and I just kept with it.
Are you familiar with Cubase?
Nope,
What about Cakewalk?
nope. I tried Ableton for a week or two and then I was like, nope.
True. Someone told me to try Ableton. I did try it. I appreciated them showing me the ropes. I actually appreciated them about 10, 13 years ago. They showed me Propeller Reason. Now that is an interesting one because visually it's appeasing to the eye. If you like visually what it looks like, by the time I had to turn around the cables and you have to connect the cables like an actual instrument or a synthesizer or whatever, a mixer channel or whatever, it kind of started to scare me because I was still a super noob at the time. Now, um, I want to say that I was very impressed by that one cowboy style song, very country. Well, I wouldn't say country. I would call it Wild West. Kind of gives you a Wild West type of feeling. The melody is super hot. I would judge the melody 9.5 out of 10, only because it's like that's a very solid rating. And I liked the overall production. It's catchy. That's the kind of song I want to replay. I'm not sure if you know which one exactly I'm referring to, but it was one of your latest tracks, and I kind of always talk about it. And I have not done any MC vocals on it. I plan to do so. I've been very busy here making music, but that's on the on my agenda. Running a record label is not as easy as a lot of people think. Now running two record labels is a different story because you get all these demo submissions, and you have to check people's work and fix it, and there's a lot going on. It's just not like, we're not doing this for the money at this moment, even though it's generating peanuts. And I said peanuts is like the snack that you eat. Now, who would you say are your top three members? Wait a minute. I wrote this question, and I can't even read it right. Give me a second. All right, screw this question. I wrote it wrong. Who would you say your top three artists of all time in hardstyle?
Yeah, for me personally, that would be at the third place that Tweakas.
Yes, I'm into that.
Second place would be Sub-Zero Project.
He's got a new
Yeah,
release coming up, and it's pretty funny title, in my opinion.
and first place with top marks would be D Block and Estefan.
Uh-huh. Have you ever been to a festival, a hardstyle festival before?
Yep.
So that's like asking a Dutch, have you ever had a drink of water?
Kinda.
Now, have you ever had a DJ gig? Like at an actual physical DJ club?
Nope.
Oh, wow. Well, we have to change that. Now, what would you say is your biggest challenge as a producer and as an artist?
Yeah, for me, in the beginning, it was actually the EQing and down mixing everything.
Right. Yeah. That's very important right there, the EQing. Now, it's a I know I see you here. Do you see music as a hobby? I mean, how would you translate music? What do you see in music? Like, is that a hobby thing for you, or do you hope to? Where do you see yourself? Well, how about this? Screw that question. Where do you see yourself in the next 5 years as far as music goes?
Well, in the first place, yeah, I basically I hope somewhere on a big main stage.
That's good. Considering we spent a little bit of a time talking on the podcast about this being a market, and there's a market in hardstyle. This being the top three genre in the United States, there's a market in this. A lot of people don't know this, but hardstyle is quite driven. There's a lot of people who love this. They're flying states, they're driving states to get to venues, and this is America. This is not like some one country in Europe that you can just kind of go from city to city. No, this is the United States. You got to drive a lot to get to, this country is humongous. And so now, right, and so let's get to the next question. For how would you say would you believe in your best belief to penetrate the market as far as there being a market in hardstyle? How do you think now that you have your releases up and running? How would you think is the best way to really get out and get recognized?
Yeah, that's a good one.
I'll let you
Yeah,
think.
well,
I'll let you think about it. You don't. I mean, there's no right or wrong answer in this. This is meant to be a chill interview. You know. I mean, in the end of the day, we are making sure that we want to make sure that we respect your time and there's in the end of the day, like someone might approach you at some point and they might say that they want to be your agent manager. That's a very good response in my opinion, because I think that's the only natural way this is going to work out. One person approached me like that, but it turns out to be just a more of a marketing thing for just getting me to sell tickets, and it wasn't the right time for me. I mean, I was still unrecognized locally. Jeez, I have to spend money on a performance. So just something to watch out for. Like, some people might lure you to do something, but I think the hardstyle community is strong. One thing I will say, now tell me, have you had any backlashes, collaborations with previous artists or anything like that that kind of like made you question hardstyle and second think it about ever, working with someone? Or is it always been like
no,
a positive thing?
for me personally, it always has been a positive thing. But
Okay.
I mean, I've heard stories from people.
In hardstyle, you say?
Yeah, but then again, I'm also like, yeah, I mean, just read the fine prints, and if you already got a bad feeling with it, then just don't do
Yeah,
it.
trust your gut, right? Trust your
Yeah,
gut. That is very important. I'm telling you, some people try to get in our server, try to get in our label, and start making complaints all of a sudden, and they have no idea how the system works. They think the world revolves around them. But in any other rate, I want to mention that something to kind of you know come out is like we'd like to see you eventually perform and DJ and stuff like that. You have solid music. Once you, my own opinion as your own record label, manager, is to say, hey, you've got 10 hot releases with us. How about perform at this venue, at that venue, at that Twitch stream, this and that, and showcase your talent. Just play your tracks. You know, that's what I'm thinking.
yeah. Well, if that would happen, then I'd say I'm up for it.
Right. And one of the things that we've noticed is that you're very active on Twitch. Like, you are a Twitch person, you're a Twitch streamer, and you're,
Yes.
the Bn8tion brand is on Twitch. It's live and brand. Do you like the other social medias? Do you use the other social medias, or what is going on with the other social medias? What do you think of them?
Mm, it's a way of generating traffic, but that's just it.
Okay. Do you ever
I mean,
think about?
I'm using TikTok. I'm placing
Oh,
videos of the tracks and everything on there. Sometimes some videos from Twitch, but it's more a mean of generating traffic than that it's actually something I use for promotional stuff or anything like that.
did you know that you're on two releases on our label on TikTok?
Yeah, I know.
Oh, that's great, because I don't know. I don't even use TikTok. I don't have it, and so I don't. I mean, like, I'm sure it's there, but like, what do people would do? They will make like a video and use the song and kind of put it on there. Is that kind of how TikTok works?
Yeah, basically how TikTok works is you're just making a video, you slam it on there, and that's just it.
That's it. That's it. All right. Now I know somebody who's got 353,000 subscribers on Twitch. I'm sorry. What's it called? TikTok, and that is very impressive. Uh, Now compared to her, Twitch is like it's like 1 to 4 barely. you know. Now, definitely doing something right on TikTok. Now let's move on to the next one. Next question. Um. So have you contacted any of the local EDM clubs in the Netherlands about playing?
No, not yet.
Not yet.
But
Uh huh.
that was more the fact that I wasn't feeling comfortable with it.
Do you now feel comfortable, kind of, or?
Yeah, now I'm actually with my music. I'm at a decent level.
Okay. Right. Right. I think we're gonna see more of you, and that's one thing that we like having you on the podcast is that this podcast was done. Sure, it is August 16th, 2022, but who knows what like next August is gonna look like, right? With your success of progressing and making better hardstyle and so forth. So, I'm very proud of your success because I want to say that you have done a lot. When you first came to the server versus now, it's like you know you can't even compare that. I mean, like it's ridiculous, and you've learned so much. So I'm glad that you did it in such a way where none of us had to like ever like you know. Have you ever felt like somebody treated you wrong, but like you know our server is more about here's the tools, the resources, here's what you want to do. Have you ever felt like somebody pressured you to do anything, like, and you didn't feel right about it, about learning?
Because usually when people do that, I'll just cut them off straight away.
Right. So, have you ever had a moment where you're like, somebody tried to like, you tried to show somebody something, but they started like talking back and like started getting aggressive or something about you showing them something about making music?
No, but I think that's more the Dutch directness that we have.
Yeah.
If people starting to get lippy, then we'll just snide them off.
But what would you say is the proper way to give somebody feedback? I mean, like directly on the forums, or should we call the general chats of the Discord servers? There's plenty of Discord servers out there. I mean, I'm on 200 Discord servers. Some of them have these sections where you can give feedback. Now, people like to be respectful on there, sure, and do great things. But I think when it comes down to it, like if you really want a feedback, like it's sometimes difficult to get it, even though people may have like thousands of members on there, but it's difficult to get feedback. Is it because people are just too busy and doing other things? But what is going on? Like, have you gotten enough feedback on your music from other Discord servers, or how is our Discord servers any different?
I was in one before, and they did give feedback, but usually it was just all negative shit and just trying to get you down. And they just ripped your music. When
Right.
you uploaded when you uploaded something to get feedback of, then one of the examples is the first track I sent you, "Into You."
Right.
I just made the melody. I sent it there for feedback, and a few days later, I had a version with the same exact same melody.
Whoa. That's not. Like sometimes people do that, but like on our Discord server, I saw that happen, but they didn't like steal the song and release it or anything. They just like remade it for the sole purpose of just kind of like having fun. It wasn't more of a. Did you ever? So did this person end up like doing something with it or like what?
Yeah, he released it,
Yeah,
but
that'll be an offline conversation between us. We have to like dig into that because yeah,
oh
that's
no,
not
he already had a problem with that because I actually phoned my solicitor and said, like, dude, he just ripped my music and I have the copyrights on it. So,
right. And our
so my
record label has copyright to the with you, that is, on the rights of the song and the release of it, which is all over these platforms. So
yeah, well, he actually already got sued and he had to take it down and he had to actually pay me a fine for it.
would you look at that? You look at this, guys. Bn8tion here from the Netherlands, doing business on his own, taking care of business on it without even notifying me. What a killer you are! I'm telling you, you're a veteran. You don't need anybody's help to do anything. You doing this on your own, and you know,
Well, when it comes down to legal stuff, then yeah, I'm on my own and I'm like, dude, you want to rip my stuff? Perfect. Do as you like.
yeah. Into You
But
was very good. I loved Into You. It was a good release. I had a lot of fun making the graphic artwork. At one point, I had the model placed on a mountain, but that was cool, too. It wasn't good enough for hardstyle artwork. So I wanted to make it look very cool and industrial. So I had that nice car and speedometer, and then you had the next release, which was the Joy song, right?
Yeah, joy of life.
The Joy of Life, and Joy of Life is also very inspiring too. See, that's the kind of music I like. It has good melody. You can replay it. And it's not much over like the today's car style, which is very brutal. Like, would you say some of the core kicks today that they put in today's hardstyle music is like, what do you make out of it versus like your genre? Do you feel like you're an old school guy? What do you make out of all this?
Well, with hardstyle, you got the genre hardstyle itself, but within it, you've got also subgenres like euphoric hardstyle, emotional hardstyle, melodic hardstyle, whatever you can name it.
So you
It's
got
there.
euphoric. So would you say you're a euphoric type of guy or melodic or both, or where do you fit in?
I'm both.
You're
I'm
both.
actually making melodic and emotional.
Mm-hmm. Now,
And the thing with melodies is you can have a solid melody, but if your sound isn't right, if the sound doesn't match the melody, then you still don't have something.
yeah. Hey, do you have any
And
comments about the extended versions of the remixes? Like today, how they make extended versions versus back in the day?
back in the day, it was more about the feeling, and my personal idea of it nowadays is it's more about the kick and the bass.
Okay.
It seems like the louder and harder the bass is, the better it is. And I'm like, nah, nope, not for me.
And do you have a merch shop?
I actually do have a merch shop on Twitch.
Oh, look at that. Yes, you do. It's on Twitch, guys. Check out B-Nation on Twitch. Now, is it B-Nation TV? How do people find you on Twitch?
It's Bn8tion TTV.
B-Nation TTV. We're gonna put that on the description there in the video. Um. Now, here's an interesting question. How much time do you spend on actually promoting your music? Because it's one thing about artists making music, but artists actually promoting their music.
Well, usually when I have a track done, the first thing I do is I will send it to you
Mm-hmm.
to get some feedback on it. Like you can change this or you can EQ that, some of this and that, and just the final tweaking. And after that, I'll just throw it on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube.
Okay.
Or only YouTube. I just started recently with that.
Right. You
And
got
the most music I make it on stream with Twitch.
so. With that being said, it kind of alleviates to my previous question. One of the previous questions was about social media. Do you ever feel like you want to be present on each social media platform, or is it just that you want to stick to one?
Well, basically, I just use TikTok to generate traffic for Twitch and YouTube, Instagram. That's basically my main promotional social media.
Gotcha. And what we'll do here is we're gonna be very cool about this. We're gonna actually play into you while we're doing the podcast. How cool is that? Awesome. Now, all right. So I mean, telling you one thing I learned. I went to a conference, a music conference, and there was a lot of these agents, promoters, PR, AR, whatever you want to call them out there. They're out there saying, giving advice to artists. One thing that they mentioned that kind of, made a lot of sense was you want to have X amount of followers on this and also on that, and you want to be present everywhere. But at the end of the day, for an AR to really find you as a serious candidate for their portfolio of artists, should we call it, if that's a thing, is really boils down to this is how many followers you have, and are you actually posting content often? Like, are you posting stories on your social media? Are you posting posts? Are you commenting? Things that makes your account look lively. What do you Do you have any anything to say about these? Are they wrong? Are they? Because there's our certain artists who are like super quiet, introvert, and all of a sudden they blow up in the music industry, and they don't really post as like social media nuts do, but like they really just stay in behind the scenes and just do their thing. What do you have any comments on that?
Well, being active on social media is one way. Myself, I have been due to some health issues and stuff, not been very active lately, but I'm getting back into it.
Right.
But yeah, it's certainly a way to get yourself known.
Well, we're happy to see you in one piece, considering was it like a couple weeks ago that it happened, one of the incidents, and you you
Yeah.
you were like on Twitch or Discord from the hospital, so
Yep.
yeah, and yeah, you got us worried here, but I looked this up and it is something that happens to certain people, and it's quite common. It's not like crazy, but it does happen. So, um, well, it's good to. Are you feeling better now? Are you good now?
I'm still bruised, but
Oh boy,
besides, besides that, I'm actually fine.
right. What advice do you have for all newcomer artists, EDM artists, DJ singers? Do you have any advice for them?
Yeah, just do you and stay true to yourself.
That is very good that you say that. You know why? Because funny enough, I was on a chat with Hardwell. In Hardwell, I asked him something in the lines of about, where do you turn in your music? Where do you submit your music? Like, what do I do as a newcomer artist and stuff like that? And he simply says something in the lines of just, it doesn't matter where it goes. It just it matters like, if it stays true to your heart and it's about you as an artist, not so much relying on others. Do you think that you're relying on another artist to be successful, or are you doing this on your own to get somewhere?
I'm just doing it on my own. I'm not relying on anybody. It's just like I said, for me, it's just for the music.
Yeah.
Because if you're going to rely on other artists, so basically lifting on their success,
Yeah.
then basically I'm like, what are you actually doing in the music industry?
Right. Right.
But that's my opinion.
Right. Anything exciting happen to you this year other than COVID being over supposedly? um
Well, I got married.
Oh, look at that. Well, we got the B-Nation married finally. About time, B-Nation. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. And last November, my son got born,
Oh, look at that.
and yeah, my music is finally coming.
And
Is
your music is
coming.
finally coming too. Wow. I
Yeah,
mean, there's a lot of these births kind of happening this year. Like you're an artist, you're signed on a record label, and you're a father and you're married. So, congratulations. If one thing I would give advice to artists is they're doing the same thing. Becoming a father, get married. That is a very positive thing. And well, look good. This has been a good 45 minutes podcast. I would say is a good for a starter. I hope you had a lot of fun doing this, and I'm sure looking forward to your success. Considering that now I'm very, very proud as a manager in the label that your new music keeps shocking me. Every time you send me something new, I'm just blown away. It's very different every time you send me something. I don't know where you learn it. I don't know how you got there. You got there
YouTube.
somehow. But in the end of the day, this is about you as your brand, the B-Nation brand, where people can find you on Twitch. And is there anywhere else you people recommend people find looking you up on, or would you say it's for right now?
On TikTok, it will be Bn8tion.
Okay.
I'm just saying that, but I will quickly look it up because I'm not really sure.
I know that you kind of have two accounts on Twitter, right? Is that a B-Nation TV, and then I saw another B-Nation. There's a panda there.
On TikTok, it's indeed Bn8tion and Bn8tion TV.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Well, look, folks. I'm going to end this.
And
Uh huh.
on Twitter, let's see, on Twitter it's just B-Nation
Gotcha.
with with the B-Nation logo.
The BBB Nation is right here, live to you from Hands Up Now. Harstown Now is the Spotify playlist, which we posted on the description. This is his new song. It's called Joy of Life, and it's played to you from the Harstown Now playlist. Thank you so much, B Nation. Take care. And we can leave the next remaining of the time to just dance until your song is over. Because that's what we do here at Hands Up Now. We rave to the sound, we play your music, and we have a lot of fun doing it. I love this melody.